what it takes, but something's missing. It could be doubt, confidence, or fear that you're not representing your best self. Whatever it is, it stops now. It's time to align your passion with your purpose and seize the opportunities that await you. I want to see you get back in the game. So join me and my expert guests as we talk all things image, branding, and a bit of entrepreneurship. So if you're ready to gain insightful tips, tools, and strategies to help you amplify your presence and define your impact for greater success, sit with us as we talk about it.
Welcome back to the Image Connection Show, where we go beneath the surface of image, branding, and presence to help you live and lead with impact. I'm your host, Jenny Dewberry, certified international image, personal brand coach, and consultant. And I am so happy to have you here with me today. The Image Connection Show is a conversation-driven show that explores how inner alignment influences outer image, personal branding, leadership presence, and visibility. But before we talk about any of that, we have to talk about alignment, because image isn't what people see, it's also what they feel. From every choice we make, from how we speak to how we present ourselves, is influenced by what's happening internally. And when those inner blocks go unexamined, they quietly shape our confidence, our leadership, and even the opportunities we allow ourselves to step into. That's really the purpose of this show, is to help you connect that so you're not just seen, but truly understood. And today's episode is a conversation and a reminder that the most powerful shifts don't happen on the surface, they begin within. We're not talking about trends. We're not talking about what's in this season. We're talking about something deeper, the strategy behind your image. Most people think image is about style, what looks good, what looks like me, what's trending. But I'd like to invite you to consider a slightly different perspective. What if image is less about personal preference and more about positioning? At its core, image is communication. Every visual choice, from clothing to grooming to posture, communicates something about you and who you are, how you work, and how you should be experienced. And if we're honest, that realization can feel a little uncomfortable at first, because many of us have been taught that authenticity simply means just be yourself. But in professional environments, authenticity and strategy are opposites. Strategy simply asks that you be yourself, but with intention. The way you present yourself becomes the visual language of your credibility. Before you speak, before you introduce yourself, before you explain what it is you do, people have already begun forming impressions, finally asking themselves things like, how seriously should I take her? How confident does she seem? And does she carry weight in this room? And it isn't about judgment, it's human nature. We all assess people and environments quickly, looking for signals of trust, confidence, and credibility. And once people place you in a category, it takes more effort to move beyond it. That's why intentionality matters so much. When you develop an image strategy, you don't have to work so hard to be believable. You simply are. You don't have to over-explain. You don't have to over-prove. You don't have to feel like you have to be on all the time. Because when your image reflects who you truly are and the level you operate at, something shifts. The room leans in. People become curious and they pay attention. They want to know more. So when you're getting dressed, a simple shift in thinking is, instead of asking, do I like this? Try asking, what does this communicate? Because there are 3 messages people receive from you often without realizing it. They're not spoken, they're simply observed. And the first message is, can I trust you? Trust doesn't begin with words, it begins with signals, your presence, your consistency, your professionalism, your attention to detail. When your appearance feels thoughtful, not necessarily expensive, just thoughtful, people naturally feel more comfortable with you. Think about it. When someone appears polished and prepared, you often assume they approach their work the same way. Details communicate that care. You don't have to be flashy. You simply have to be intentional. So a helpful question to ask yourself is there anything about my current image that feels unfinished? If there is, that might be the place to begin refining. The second message people read is, are you confident in who you are? And confidence is rarely loud. More often, it looks like ease. It flows. And you can see it when someone's settled within themselves. They're not adjusting constantly. They're not shrinking into the background. They are simply in the room, taking up space. They're present. And when your image is purposeful, something interesting happens. You arrive differently. You feel more grounded, more certain of yourself. And the people around you feel that confidence as well. Reflect on this. When you walk into a room, do you feel like you have to adapt to that space, or does the room begin to subtly adjust to your presence? You really have more influence than you might realize. And the third message is, do you belong here? And this is powerful because your image communicates whether you understand the environment you're in. And belonging doesn't mean you're copying the room. It means you understand the context, the tone, the standard. The way you dress communicates that you understand the space you occupy. You notice people are receiving you differently. I truly believe each of us have the ability to influence the atmosphere of rooms, but that influence begins with awareness. So study the environments you want to be in, know the expectations, the level of presence, then position yourself accordingly. And I want to be clear about this. Most professionals don't have a bad image. More often, there's simply a disconnect in who you are and how you present yourself. You're skilled, you're experienced, you're knowledgeable, but your image may not yet reflect the level of your expertise. Perhaps you appear more supportive than authoritative, or you blend into the background of your team. People don't know where to place you. When that happens, people unintentionally place you in the wrong category, and your value gets undermined. A helpful shift to remember is this. When your position changes, your image should change as well. You cannot take the old you into new places. Your presence should reflect the level you've reached. Another disconnect is mixed messages. Consistency builds credibility. If your image shifts dramatically between environments, professional in one place, someone else in another, when that becomes mingled, people lose trust and they're uncertain about how to perceive you. The same applies online. If you're one way online and someone sees you somewhere else and you're someone totally different, that's misalignment. It's confusion. Sometimes when people are certain about their image, they try too hard to compensate. They try too hard to be relatable or to appear powerful. But effort is not the same as authority. When you're performing rather than simply being yourself, others feel that tension. It's heavy. True presence comes from authenticity. These disconnects don't mean you need a shopping spree. They usually mean you need clarity. And just as you build strategy within your business, your image deserves strategy as well. Here's the good news. Realignment rarely requires a complete reinvention. Often small adjustments makes the greatest difference. Start with one simple question. What do I want to be known for? Trustworthy, approachable, decisive, refined? Whatever it is, choose the word that feels most aligned with who you are. And then ask yourself, does my image support that message? You don't necessarily need more clothing. What you need is clarity, consistency, and intentional finishing touches. Polish is often simplification, removing what competes with your message. A helpful practice is, after you've gotten dressed, take a moment in the mirror and ask yourself if anything feels over the top. Sometimes removing just one element creates more presence. Too many accessories, too many mixed signals, too much visual noise. But when your image becomes simpler, you stop competing with yourself. You simply stand in the room fully. Here's 3 questions you can reflect on this week. What do I want to be known for? What do people see before they hear me? And does my appearance reinforce my expertise, or does it compete with it? Here's a simple action step. Choose one word, again, just one: credible, approachable, refined, grounded, or decisive. Then dress intentionally for that word. Not perfectly, just intentionally with purpose. Remember, people often decide how to experience you before they hear you. Your presence communicates. That doesn't mean you have to perform. It simply means you have to prepare. You have to prepare. You have to practice presence. Your image is speaking. Make sure it's saying exactly what you want it to say. Until next time, stay connected to your image, your brand, and the way you show up in every room you enter.
Thanks for tuning in to the Image Connection Show. We truly appreciate you being here. We hope you'll join us again. And don't keep it to yourself. Invite a friend to tune in too. If you're ready for more insightful tips, tools, and strategies to help you enhance your image, brand, and help you on your entrepreneurial journey, this is where you want to be. Until next time, keep showing up with purpose, presence, and power. I'll see you next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Take care.